So let's begin. So the book Madārij has many tahqiqat. The many people have gone back to the book from the manuscripts. Some are very lengthy. Some are in many volumes, hitting 3,000, 4,000 pages. Another 3-volume print, about 2,000 pages. Then there's some summaries and taqarib, where they simplify the books. For example, this one that I have here, this is hitting 700-800 pages, and then there's an even simpler one, which is about 300 pages. So lots of people of knowledge, researchers have given great attention to this book. So one of those authors who published and made a tahqiq of the book has an excellent summary of what is in this book. So, title of the book, Madārij as-Sālikīn, بين منازل إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. Right, which means, Madārij, the ranks or the gradations of the Sālikīn, meaning those who are on the path to Allah. بين منازل إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين, which is the manazil, the levels of إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. This statement in Surah Al-Fatiha, إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين, actually is the essence of every single revealed book, which we are going to see later inshallah. This statement in Surah Al-Fatiha, إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين, every single revealed book from the Torah, the Injil, Zabur, the Suhuf, and many other books, all of them are in the Quran, and in the Quran there is Al-Fatiha, and in Al-Fatiha there is this ayah, and this ayah is an encapsulation of everything that was revealed prior to it. So this statement has levels. There are manazil, levels. And so this is what Ibn Al-Qayyim is referring to. That in this book, a person who wants to go on the path to Allah, then there are many gradations and levels. And for him to take those levels in going to Allah, he needs to know what are the manazil, what are the steps which are found in this ayah. And so essentially the whole of this book, Madārij as-Sālikīn, is to explain 100 steps that take you on the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right, that's just from the title. So then, the authors, they say, describing this book, they say, هو سفر عظيم النفع غزير الفائدة. This is a volume which is of mighty benefit, and it is of profound benefit, profound benefit. تعرض فيه المصنف لعامة مسائل العقيدة. The author, Ibn Al-Qayyim, in this book has addressed the generality of the issues of creed. So in this book, the generality of the issues of our aqidah have been addressed. فَتَكَلَّمَ فِيهِ عَلَى أَنْوَاعِ التَّوْحِيدِ. So within it, he spoke about the various types or categories of tawheed, عَرْضًا لِمَنْهَجِ أَهْلِ السُنَّةِ, within which he presents to the reader the methodology of Ahlul Sunnah in that respect, in establishing tawheed and discussing the affairs of aqidah. وَرَدًّا عَلَى مَذَاهِبِ أَهْلِ الْبِدَعِ, and in the process he is refuting the various doctrines and schools of the people of innovation. وَرَكَّزَ عَلَى قَضِيَّةِ الْأَسْمَاءِ وَالصِّفَاتِ, and he focused and centered around the issue of the names and the attributes. وَإِثْبَاتِهَا لِلَّهِ تَعَالَى عَلَى مَا يَلِيقُ بِجَلَالِهِ وَعَظَمَتِهِ, and to affirm them for Allah the Exalted in a way that befits His majesty and His greatness. وَرَدَّ عَلَى عَامَةِ الْمُعَطِّلَةِ وَالْمُؤَوِّلَةِ, and he refuted the generality of the negators, the ones who negated the attributes, وَالْمُؤَوِّلَةِ, and those who metaphorically explained away the attributes. وَكَذَا مسائل الألوهية وتحقيق العبودية وبيان أكملها وأشرفها. And likewise, he explained the issues of uluhiyah, meaning Allah's right to be worshipped alone, and how to establish servitude to Allah, al-ubudiyah, and to explain what is the most noble part of ubudiyah and the most perfect part of ubudiyah. وبيان الميزان الصحيح لمعرفة ذلك. And then he also explained the correct scales of judgment as to how do we know what scales do we use to know what is correct about servitude to Allah, right? Meaning in the correct way, upon the way of the people of the Sunnah, as opposed to the people of the Sufis and other than them. So he laid down the mizan, the balance, the scales. وتناول فيه مسائل القدر. And likewise in it, he addressed the issues to do with al-qadr, the divine decree. ومسائل الإيمان, and the issues of iman. ومسائل الشرك والكفر والفسق والكبائر والصغائر. Likewise, he addressed the issues of shirk, the reality of shirk, of kufr, and the types of kufr, والفسق, which is sin, والكبائر, the major sins, والصغائر, and the minor sins. وتحدث فيه عن مسائل السلوك والأخلاق والمقاصد والنيات والمقامات والأحوال. Likewise, he addressed the issue there of basically the suluk of an individual. How does he behave on his path to Allah, and his manners, the akhlaq, and the maqasid, like the intentions and what does a person pursue, and the niyat, like the inner intentions and their purity, wal maqamat, and the various stations that a person has in his relationship with Allah, wal ahwal, and again the various states and conditions. وَرَدَّ فِيهِ عَلَى الصُّوفِيَّةِ وَبَيَّنَ أَصْنَافَهُمْ وَأَصْنَافَ مَقَالَاتِهِمْ وَأَنَّ مِنْهَا الْمُعْتَدَلِ الْمَقْبُولِ وَمِنْهَا السَّاقِطِ الْمَرْدُودِ. Likewise, he addressed the Sufis. The Sufis, he explained all their various groups, and he mentioned the different categories of what they say, and that among the statements of the Sufis, there are some statements that they say which are moderate and acceptable, because this is from the justice of Ahlul Sunnah, that when they look at everybody's statements across all of the sects, they will find in there things which contain truth, and they are moderate, and so obviously we accept those things. We don't oppress anybody or deny the truth that he has with him. We accept those statements and we incorporate them. And so he explained that there are some moderate, acceptable statements among the Sufis who spoke, and amongst them are those which are rejected, invalid, and he refuted وَرَدَّ عَلَى غُلَاتِهِمْ مِنَ الْحُلُولِيَّةِ وَالْإِتِّحَادِيَّةِ بِأُسْلُوبٍ عِلْمِي وَأَدَبٍ لَفْظِي لَا شَطَطْ فِيهِ وَلَا اعْتِدَاءٍ. And likewise he refuted the extremists among the Sufis from the Hululiyya and the Ittihadiyya, those who believe that Allah indwells in some of His creation, and the creation, from His creation are those who enter into divine union with Allah. And he refuted how? بِأُسْلُوبٍ ilmi, right? With a knowledge-based method. وَأَدَبٍ لَفْظِي, and he used adab, like he used good manners in terms of the words that he used. لا شطط فيه. There is no disturbance or commotion, ولا اعتداء, nor is there any transgression. This shows the justice of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, and the justice of the Imams of the Salaf, that when they speak, even against those people who have the worst types of kufr and shirk, that's with the Sufis. He didn't say these evil, filthy, vile Sufis, this, that, no. Right? بِأُسْلُوبٍ ilmi, with a knowledge-based refutation. It's got to be based upon knowledge. and with adab lafzi. Right? وَرَدَّ فِيهِ على النفاة من الجهمية والمعتزلة ونحوهم. He also refuted the negators amongst the Jahmiyyah who negate Allah's attributes, and the Mu'tazila and their likes. وَرَدَّ عَلَى نُفَاةِ الْحِكْمَةِ وَالْأَسْبَابِ وَالْعِلَلِ. He also refuted those from the Muslim groups and sects who negated that there is wisdom in Allah's actions, that when Allah acts, when He rewards, when He punishes, when He creates, when He guides, when He misguides, in all of Allah's actions, when He provides, when He increases sustenance, when He decreases sustenance, in all of Allah's actions, there are hikam, there are indeed wisdoms in Allah's actions. And there are asbab, there are causes and their effects. Right? So he refuted those people, meaning here the Ash'aris, he refuted those people as well. وجل فيه منهج أهل السنة في مسائل أعمال القلوب وتفاوت العاملين والعباد بسببها كمالا ونقصا اتباعا وابتداعا. Likewise, he made clear the methodology of Ahlul Sunnah in the way that they speak about the actions of the heart. Right? Because many people speak about the actions of the heart. Right? The Sufis spoke about these issues. The philosophers spoke about these issues. The mystics spoke about the issues of the heart, trying to reach what they believe to be the truth. But they spoke upon ignorance and misguidance. So Ibn Al-Qayyim in this book, he spoke about the issues of the heart in accordance with what? The Quran and the Sunnah and the manhaj of Ahlul Sunnah. He made these affairs very clear to the reader, and how, the amilin and the ubad, meaning the servants and the slaves who act, how they vary in the states of the heart. Kamalan wa naqsan, in terms of some of them reach perfection, some of them have deficiency, and some of them actually make ittiba, they follow the messenger in that, and others they are upon innovation with respect to that, meaning the heart and its actions. وتحدث فيه بإسهاب عن العبادة ومنازلها ووصف السائرين إلى الله وأقوال الناس في أفضلها وأكملها والتلازم بين إثبات الشرع والعمل به وإثبات القدر والإيمان به والرد على المخالفين. Likewise, he spoke at great length about worship itself, about ibadah and its various levels and ranks. And he described those people who traverse on that path to Allah. The people who traverse to Allah, he gave descriptions of those people and how they are in respect to these levels. And likewise, the statements that people said, meaning from the Salaf, when they spoke about these issues, as to like the virtuous parts of that and the most complete parts of that. And likewise, he spoke about والتلازم بين إثبات الشرع والعمل به وإثبات القدر والإيمان به. So he combined between how we believe in the shar', in the legislation, and we act upon it, and we combine that with al-qadr and having iman in al-qadr, meaning there's no contradiction between al-qadr and the sharia, right? So we act upon the sharia and we believe in al-qadr. There's no contradiction between al-qadr and al-shar', and he spoke about that issue in great length as well. وَالرَّدْ عَلَى الْمُخَالِفِينَ, and a refutation of those who opposed this issue, right? Those like the different groups of Qadariyah who, erred in the matter of Qadar. Some said, well, the Sharia conflicts with Al-Qadar, and, some people used Al-Qadar as an argument to not act upon the Sharia, right? So there's different groups that erred, and so he refuted them as well. كما امتاز الكتاب بحسن عرضه وقوة رده وجودة تبويبه وتقسيمه وتأصيله للمسائل وقوة مأخذه في الاستدلال لها والتزامه بالنصوص والآثار وتعظيمه لها رحمه الله رحمة واسعة. Just as we find this book, if you look at this book, Ibn Al-Qayyim has made an excellent presentation of the issues. He has brought powerful refutation. He has organized everything like the chapters and divided things and laid foundations for the masail in the most excellent of way. And likewise, the way he brings evidences for the issues, for the points, he's done it in the most excellent of approach. And in doing so, he adhered to the nusus, to the texts, and to the athar, to the text of the Quran and the Sunnah, and the athar of the Salaf, and how he venerated the texts and the athar. May Allah grant him, may Allah grant him a tremendous mercy. Okay, so this is the book, and as you can see, this is a tremendous description of a book. So literally in this book, So in this book, he is commenting upon another book that speaks about affairs of worship and suluk, like affairs of the heart and closeness to Allah. But he's done it in a way in which he anchors it down to all of these issues of belief, right? So in other words, because there were many people who came before, from the Sufis, the mystics, the philosophers, people speaking about, reaching Allah, and they spoke with misguidance, innovation. And so they were clinging to this book written by a Shaykh al-Islam from a few centuries earlier, Abu Ismail Al-Harawi, and they misunderstood many of the things that he was writing. So Ibn Al-Qayyim came along to write an explanation of that book, but then he did it from an angle that you see in what we just read. He brought it back and he anchored it down to all of these issues, to affairs of Aqidah, Tawheed, Iman, Al-Qadar, right? And he clarified all the issues to put it in its proper perspective. So we now know the difference between how does a person of Tawheed and the Sunnah, how does he reach Allah, what are the manazil, what are the states of the heart. So this now is purified from what the Sufis are saying, what the mystics are saying, what the philosophers are saying. And we can see what aspect of truth did they have with them and how did they err in these issues, right? So this book gives us absolute clarity in respect to that. So in other words, it's like, it's the refutation, what the Sufis claim to have of worshipping Allah and what they call spirituality and whatever. Well, really, this is the muwahhid, the Sunni, that's that's the truth by which he reaches Allah. So we can do away with the mystics and with the Sufis and the philosophers and all those other people who spoke upon jahl and ignorance and extremism. And so now we can see clearly what is the path that I need to take to reach Allah upon the way of Tawheed and the Sunnah and the way of the Salaf.